Hey everyone. So this is going to be the second half of the podcast with Kevin Gibbens from Kapture Gear. Again, we're just kind of continuing with the BS that we were doing, talking about elk hunting and his transition from firearms into the bow hunting world. We appreciate you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. If you do, please like and subscribe it. We're going to bring in some more content, some more guests in the future here. We're having a lot of fun doing this. Also, for listening to us again, go to our online web store, punch in Bow Press 10. You get 10% off on our stuff on our online store. So thanks for listening. Enjoy the podcast.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. Black Gold sent me to Texas to this ranch to go hunt as a dealer. And it was a dealer's only hunt. I get there, and there's probably 7 or 8 guys from around the country that are there hunting. And we're practicing. You know, and these guys are like whiffing the target at 20 yards. And I'm like, what the hell? I mean, skipping arrows. I'm like, holy crap. Well, it ended up being in these high fence places, these pet and pops. It wasn't my thing. I wasn't really into it. They had a black buck. I was trying to kill the black buck that was on it. But anyways, this one guy wanted to kill, he's from Alabama. He wanted to kill this Marco Polo ram. And I found that he was getting ready to leave. And I go, hey, I found your ram. I go, he's up on the shelf. He's bedded. I go, let's go kill it. And it was dark. Because it's Texas, man. We can hunt exotics in the dark. So we go out. There's me, him, Ben from Black Gold. We go out there. He's got Luminox. The thing's literally 35 yards up on this thing. And by the time he got, that whole mountain was covered in Luminox arrows. He had hit it, nicked it on his leg, and it was up there bellowing. And you can see blood coming down. I go up on the mountain. I'm literally throwing arrows back down the cliff to them so he could reuse them. Yeah. He shot this thing I don't know how many times. Yeah. We finally had to go out and slit his throat to finally get the thing. And this guy's owns an archery shop. I was dumbfounded. I was like, my gosh. But not to shoot very good, I guess, in Alabama. 20 yards is about the max you have to shoot. So.
Right, yeah. Before you spend most of your time just fixing bows, maybe you need a...
True.
Shoot a
that is also a common factor at archery shops.
Did you draw any tags this year?
I draw nothing.
Nothing?
I got nothing. It was a rough year for us. Yeah. Actually, for elk, I put it for points. I knew it was going to be a rough year for elk. I don't do elk. I didn't get, and I actually missed the spring draw. Completely spaced getting the spring. I didn't get no turkey tag, no javelina tag.
Yeah.
You?
I didn't draw anything this year. I drew an elk tag last year. I drew that 27 tag again last year and killed a bull. But this year I had 3 kids that drew coos tags down at 29 and went down and had a good time. Yeah,
that's cool.
So it was fun. Yeah. But I got lucky. I've drawn that early 27 tag twice. So killed a bull both times. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. One of these days I'll get an early tag, I hope. I've been early tag since 2014 was my last early tag.
Really?
I've had a few, you get no points. You kind of throw the late tags in there and do those hunts. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to stop and wait. And that unit 1 late tag, I like it.
Yeah.
It's a fun hunt.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build my points back up.
The late archery tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any younger. I want one really good quality tag before I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to draw in Arizona at least.
Dude, I definitely wish that Arizona, it's like, it wasn't too bad because, I mean, there's a lot of good opportunity in Colorado, Utah, Idaho, whatever. But with all these other states that are kind of cracking down on non-residents, I'm like, look, I get it. It's fair. You want to prioritize your residents. I just wish Arizona would do the same.
Yeah. I think there's talk about doing it. They're trying to. I think they need to because and Arizona is one of those follower states.
Yeah.
Once some states start doing it, they'll fall right in suit with it.
Yeah.
But it does. I mean, you could go to Idaho and get leftover tags for years. There's nothing left over anymore in Idaho. It's just in the West in general, it's just tough to draw a tag. When you have that many applicants putting in every year, and I think it's like, I don't know, it goes up like, 10 to 18,000, every year, more applicants for elk. It's like, you're just chasing that tag.
Yeah. You ever done the back east tree stand?
Love it.
Yeah. You love it?
I do it.
I've never done it, but it's one of those things where right now I say, like, I don't know if I'm going to expect to like it as much as out here, but I totally want to go try it. Like, I definitely want to.
When I first started doing it, I was like, man, I cannot sit in a tree stand. I'm a spot and stock guy. I'm just sitting there. But I love it. I mean, I
Yeah.
get up in there, I relax, I just enjoy it. I see all kinds of animals.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those guys, when I go back east, and especially if I'm paying for a hunt, it's like, leave me out there all day.
Yeah.
I don't come get me in the morning.
Yeah.
I can't kill anything on the couch. Just leave me out there. Me and Deanna go back, and I've hunted Illinois and Wisconsin and Kansas and stuff like that. I love it. Matter of fact, I get to watch some. I start jonesing for it. It's like, oh man, he would kill a big old. There's nothing like killing a big old eastern whitetail.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love Texas.
Dude, this is my buddy's. He got into archery a little after me, and I mean he just got back from back east. Shot so this is his first archery deer.
That's his first one.
That's his first one. Yeah.
Downhill from there.
Yeah.
It's a great buck.
Yeah. Not gonna get a lot. Not gonna get a lot. I'll send it to you, Antonio. But yeah, it was a great buck. Great buck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm dying to try
and they
it.
eat great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing.
That is one thing. Like, growing up on deer out here that my grandpa would kill and everything like that. I mean, that was primarily the reason why we'd go hunt Idaho's, because they're all eating sweet pea and whatever, and they taste great.
Deanna she hated wild game until we started hunting in Texas.
Yeah,
and she's like, oh my gosh, they're eating corn and wheat. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Back east, they eat so much better.
Yeah,
but it's just, I don't know what it is.
Well, they get
to
kill so much. Some of these states. I had a business trip to Maryland one time, and blew me away. It was kind of the first time I ever heard about it. Like we were testing a helmet at one of the national test labs in Maryland, and the guy's like, "Well, too bad you don't have enough time to get your tag and go get a bow and whatever," because he's like, "I'm going to hit my stand tonight." So I get BS with him. I'm like during the season, they're hitting their stand. They've got a rotation of stands, but they're going out every other night and killing something almost every time they go out. I'm like, dude, how many deer? They're like, oh, I can kill like 40 deer a year. I'm like,
in Georgia, it's like you can kill a deer a day from like October to January. A deer a day.
That's insane.
It's but you go in those places. Like I was just in Wisconsin not too long ago. There's deer freaking everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So I can see that where they can do. Back here we just don't have those kind of populations.
Yeah.
And back east, the insurance companies really drive the game regulations because of all the deer getting hit by cars. So they're constantly soliciting and petitioning the state legislatures to have more tags and stuff like that.
That was another reason why I thought it was a little funny that people didn't like like bow hunters at first, because you get back east, there's it's such a densely populated area. It's like it's certainly more of a risk to be shooting a rifle or shooting slugs or whatever. And then it's it's almost safer.
Well, but you just have to think back we're looking at it from today's standards, looking from back then. It's like deer hunting. It wasn't like the 1950s where deer hunting actually became popular, like it became a mainstream thing. It was always bird hunting, especially like in the Midwest and things like that.
Yeah.
I remember in Nebraska, I read an article where I think it was 1959 or 58 when they actually started having deer hunts, regulated deer hunts there. It was all before that was all pheasants, and bird hunting was a big thing, a big market. But deer hunting was just kind of like people go do it to fill the freezer up. It wasn't a sport. It wasn't, you never saw guys with big antlers, and it was never about the size of them. It was just about putting meat in your, and it also became a sport, became this, hey, guys started getting into deer and things like that, and all of a sudden it blew up. But I think back then, wasn't many cars on the road back then and things like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think a lot of that had to do with it. But now we're such a populated area, and the rural areas are more populated now. Even look at here in Sholo and stuff like that. How many people are here now, and how many elk are getting hit, and how many deer are getting hit now.
Yeah.
I was telling Antonio this summer going down back and forth to Mesa. I've seen 4 bears get hit between Linden and the Rim. I've never seen a bear get hit on that road. And this year I've seen 4. And a lot of it has to do because of drought.
Well, bear. Yeah. I mean, I this summer, I think it's always late at night, but on my street, I've seen a bear 4 times.
Yeah.
Decent sized little adult.
Game and Fish told me this summer they trapped over 136 bears in Pine Top Country Club alone.
That's insane.
Wow.
It's insane,
Yeah.
but it's a lot has to do because it's so dry and that's where they're at. But I think as we encroach on animals, obviously they're going somewhere. I mean, I got a picture. Some guy said over here, just downtown Sholo, there's 3 huge bucks laying underneath a tree in downtown Sholo, just kicked back. You never saw that when I was a kid, but I think as we, you look at, I live out in Linden, and so you look at how many people live out there now from where I used to live. I mean, I used to have elk in my place all the time. I still have elk, but I would have herds come through my house. So it's kind of so broken with fences and things like that they're getting pushed into places where they weren't normally at. And so I think that has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah.
But, and hunting is just, it's changing. We had this conversation one time about, I told these guys about, why do we hunt and stuff like that. And I get that asked a lot lately because I get so many people coming in. Like my neighbors are all from California, and they see me out there, and they love that. They go, "You can shoot in my yard if you want." You come across, but they always see me and Deanna out there shooting our bows, so they always come and talk. You guys hunt? Have you been on hunts lately? They always want to hear my stories about hunts, and they don't want to hunt, but they always ask me, why do you do that? You guys like to meat? I'm like, yeah, but a deer doesn't go a long ways. In a freezer, an elk does, but
the price per pound isn't necessarily
it's
the most
not. It's definitely not there, but
yeah.
I think it's we and I have had this conversation. It's for me, and it's a growing. I think you kind of morph into different parts of a hunter, but for me now it's just about being in the woods. I want that challenge. I want that one-on-one, outsmarting that animal, but just being out there and watching the sun come up and the sunset.
It's so awesome. It's because like you said, I really liked your answer, and you've said this on your podcast before. On a large scale, I think that is 100% the best answer. The reason why we hunt as a community of hunters is it's the most effective means of conservation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we put so much money into the system, and luckily the system is doing good things with preserving these animals and helping their habitat and everything grow. So, large scale. I took my kids through the last couple of kids I took through Hunter Ed. And then when you learn about the North American hunting model, Teddy Roosevelt days, and all that. I mean, it's awesome, and it's being replicated all around the world. So that's awesome, but when I'm out in the woods, that's not what I'm thinking about. I'm like the challenge. It's so fun. The challenge of it. Like, I there's so many, when you take some people new that haven't hunted a lot, like so much of it is kind of, a lot of times it's dependent on success. They want to, they have some definition of success. Like, well, we are we going to see stuff, or we didn't kill anything? And they come home, well, we didn't kill anything. And it's like, if the first thing they say when you come home from hunting is like, well, we didn't kill anything. It's like, no, it's not. I mean, at least everybody's different, but I'm like, that's not really.
But I think as you go, I think when you start out, that's the goal.
Yeah.
My end goal is to kill something. And then it kind of goes into, well, I don't want to kill something mature.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I was like, if I don't kill anything, it's like before I'd be so bummed and depressed. Now it's like, man, I had a great hunt. I got to see this, I got to see that. I got to see some new country. It's a whole different, I mean, it's because I'm getting older, but hunting is so much different than what it was. I remember in high school, man, and I went through a phase where if it was brown, it was down. I mean, I didn't care. I just wanted to kill some stuff.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to get that experience of killing something, of sealing the deal, putting an animal on the ground, and there's real value in that for sure. Because for me, like I'm really only like last 12 years been into like big game hunting, so I still feel like I'm learning a lot, and it's definitely different than like bird hunting or chasing rabbits around or whatever. So it's like there's so much to learn, and that's the phase that I'm at right now. I'm like, I've ridden that wave so many times of like, I think I kind of know what I'm doing, and then you get humbled, and then you apply those lessons, and then you do make smarter decisions, and then you think you got it put together, and like honestly, this last season. The last year, I mean, for me, if I was to sum it up, I was like, man, I made a lot of really good decisions of putting myself in the right spot. Mm-hmm. I was in elk every day. I was giving myself a ton of opportunities, but it was like, bro, I suck at sealing the deal. Like I had multiple opportunities of like right there where I'm like, I'm creating that opportunity, and it's like, holy freak, I suck at sealing the deal. And luckily I ended up shooting a decent bull. But even the morning I killed my bull. I killed my bull on like day 7 or 8. And, but that morning I totally screwed up a 35-yard look at probably a good 360-ish plus. And I'm trying to be trying to not brag here. So I feel comfortable saying it was at least that. And I totally screwed up and again, it was an example of like, I had done a lot of work. I'd been in that area. I knew I had learned that area. And then I was in this wilderness area, and there was this bowl that was kind of right in the middle of this area. And luckily I didn't have a lot of pressure. First day, there was a couple hunters in there. And we were chasing around a herd bull that had like 20, 30 cows with them. But really, pressure wise, it really wasn't bad. That they were a little, it wasn't hard to get ahead of this other couple that was hunting. So that, it didn't affect us too much, but then the elk got real quiet. But, 4 or 5 days in the area, I got to kind of learn what was going on pretty good. And that was helping me out, and I was creating opportunities. And then even the night before, I had kind of got a feel like I had bumped a couple of other bulls, and I had a pretty close, fun look at a bedded group with a good herd bull. It was that same herd that we were chasing around the first morning. And, so even that night I was like, you know what? I left a little time on the clock, 'cause I was like, dude, they're going to be in here in the morning. It's going to be hopping in the morning. So I get in there. So I actually leave, and I was like, I'm going to let it settle, and I'm just going to be in here like first thing in the morning. So it's still dark. Get in the next morning, and while I'm getting kind of close, they're screaming their heads off. And I'm like, oh hell yeah! Like, so, and then I was like, I'm not a great caller. I practice a lot. I'm totally that guy in the truck, just like, bugling away, trying to figure out what I'm doing. I have a lot to learn on like when to use what call, but so I'm still piecing that together, but super fun. But anyways, I didn't do a lot of calling this trip, but anyways, that morning I put myself between a couple of bulls that were screaming at each other. And I was like, there's probably one going to come up out of that cut. Sure enough, guy, and I can see he's a good bull, and I'm like, oh, dude, like, so you'll laugh at me on this one, because he's coming up, and the bull that he's talking to, that they're screaming at, is kind of like directly behind me. I put myself kind of in the between, and this bull starts coming up, and so I'm watching him. I'm kind of behind a line of pine trees, and I'm thinking that this bull is a little bit off from me, not directly. So I'm thinking at some point he's going to angle directly over that bull, and he'll start kind of walking broadside, and I can get a shot on him. So he does that. He starts angling over. And then and then it looks like he's going to start. And I was like, okay, I range where he's at. It's about 670, but where I'm thinking he's probably going to get broadside is 65. So I looked down, and in the time it took me to look down and set my sight, I've got a spot hog slider, and I set it at 65, and I get back up and all ready to draw back, and he's coming right back at me, just coming straight back at me. And I just like got all flustered. I'm like, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like, and by the time, and he's on a mission, so he's not running, but he's definitely moving pretty good clip. So he starts, in hindsight, I'm like, just draw your damn bow back and hold low. You would have been fine. Mm-hmm. But in that moment, I was just like, oh, what do I do? Do I wait till I, know what range, and I readjust my sight, whatever. So he starts angling over, gets 35 yards away from me, out in the clearing, and looks right at me, and I'm not drawn back, and I'm like, like, and then he stands there and gives me a huge long look, and I'm just that much more time of like, you're an idiot. Like, he's staring right at you. How much time would you have to kill this guy? And I tried to draw back, and he bumped, and I tried calling, and he didn't. And so all day I've got that in the back of my head, like, and there were other opportunities where I kind of did some other similarly stupid stuff. And anyways, long story short, ended up killing a bull that night. And so it was awesome.
I think the biggest thing with people bow hunting is knowing when to draw. That's where I find the biggest thing is it's knowing when to do it. And when I'm with guys, I'm like, draw, and they hesitate, and then game over.
Well, because one reason maybe why I was a little bit gun shy that morning was when I kind of screwed up on that big bull is because 2 days earlier I had again I bumped it was the first morning where like the elk got really quiet, and I'm kind of wondering, are they even in the area? Did they clear out of here? And as I'm kind of working my way back the way I'd come to try another finger, I bump a couple cows, and I see that they've got a little bit smaller bull with them, but they bump up, and again I'm like, the way they are, I think they're going to come back down. So I went, got at the bottom of this finger and started working up, and I was kind of thinking they were coming back down, and then sure enough, I see antlers kind of coming over the hillside, and he got behind a pretty decent little brush, and I was like, okay, he can't see me. I draw back and totally saw me.
Yeah, that sucks.
So
that's usually you see a lot of guys. They draw way too early.
Yeah,
and it's like that. They also get the standoff.
Yeah,
they're just going to win on a standoff every single time.
Yeah,
it's like you can't hold that bow that long. They make a good shot.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. It's fair to say. Like I haven't killed a lot of stuff. I've my first year I did kill. My first archery kill was actually a javelina, and I've killed stuff before, because like even during our rifle days, we had killed a few elk and some deer and all that, but I still remember my first archery kill, javelina. It was in Mesa. I had just gone out in the desert north of where the shop was at, and I was just chasing some javelina in the metro units, the OTC kind of metro stuff. And dude, I knew I was really getting hooked into archery, because it was like I got this like 30-yard look at a pretty good sized pig, and stuck him, and how freaking excited I was. Like that, I remember laying in bed that night, replaying it over and over, and I'm like, dude, that was the coolest thing in the world. Like, so that's definitely when I kind of really decided, like, dude, archery hunting is kind of where it's at. So I'll rifle hunt too, but archery is definitely.
What was the first animal you killed, Antonio?
I killed a mule deer. It was my first animal with a bow. And then
how long were you hunting before you killed that?
I hunted for 3 years before I killed. Yeah.
I think a lot of people get into this, they got to have it right now, and they think it's easy. They watch these TV shows and things like that, and you're seeing 20 minutes of a 5-day hunt. It's like, and I think so many people get in there, they go, that sucked, man. I wasn't successful, and they're going back to the gun. It's not like, I always tell people all the time, bow hunting is a lot more hunting than it is killing.
Yeah,
and you have to understand that up front. But once you get in, once you get that first under your belt, it's like you're hooked. It's like hook, line, and sinker. You're into it now.
Well, it just feels like a different experience. It feels like you have to focus a lot more on tactics and how you're moving, where the wind, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's obviously that matters in rifle hunting, but everybody knows it's so much harder to get close to an animal, get in bow range of an animal, and getting that close to look. Like my first elk the first time I drew that tag, I think I got my bow, and the next year. So I think ended up being about 2 years after kind of starting getting archery that I drew that 27 elk tag, and I killed the bull that year too. But in the morning that I killed that bull, like literally, I ended up killing the bull of, and I think that's something that, again, to kind of sell archery hunting is like how close you can get to these animals. It's like, because if you see a 350 bull at 300 yards, even 200 yards, and you get on a rifle, that's awesome. And but it's not the same as being 50 yards away from two bulls duking it out during the rut and just going at it. Like,
you feel it inside your body. You're screaming.
Yeah. My buddy Jared helped me on that first elk hunt. And that morning we got out of the truck, and actually it was, and I had bulls just screaming everywhere, and we were climbing over this burn to get to where we were hearing a bunch. Of my buddy Jared's like, dude, hey, hold up, there's a bull right up there on the burn. And we called him in to I was like 30 yards, but it was it was so early I couldn't see my peep. I was full draw. His shoulder, and there was like a gap between his shoulder blade and an aspen, and it was close enough, and I felt like I could have made that shot. But I'm like, I can't even see my peep. And the whole time I'm hearing like 3 other bulls screaming. I was like, I hope I don't regret this. But so I let down on him, and then we ended up finding a really, really good bull. And we ended up chasing him, kind of just stayed on him until they ended up bedding up. And then, but when we finally caught up to him, it was like 50 yards in front of us. He was bedded up, and we just see his antlers above the grass. And so we're moving in to kind of get a move on him. But then, some satellite came on the other side of his cows, jumped up, freaking. So my first elk hunt was the classic of just duking it out 80 yards in front of me, and then the satellite that lost the fight. A bunch of spikes drove all his cows down the bottom. They were going down the hill. So the big bull broke off the fight, followed them, and the satellite followed him for a couple seconds. And he's like, "Nah, I don't want any more of that." So he literally just walked up the hill and side hilled right at us, and then we got him. So it was
cool.
But yeah.
That's, when you get close to an elk and they're screaming, there's nothing like it.
It's awesome.
I get so many people that come from back east or on back east whitetail hunting or something like that. And they're like, "Tell me about elk hunting. What's it like?" I'm like, "There's nothing like it."
Yeah.
I mean, it's like everybody wants to come elk hunt, and I get it. We kind of take things for granted for sometimes, for much where we live in it, but it's crazy, man. You get that lip curling and that head back, and they're just grunting, or they're chuckling, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, they're so vocal and such a range of sound and everything. I mean, yeah, you could grunt and rattle in deer, and there's stuff.
But to have an elk come in and just be that close to you and trashing a tree, and you take people that've never been around the elk, and they're like, oh my gosh, now you see why I hunt. Like, hell yeah. It's like, they get it. But it's a lot of fun, and being in the woods, and it's something that, I don't know, I won't call it an ego thing, but to know that, hey, this steak that we're eating right now, I put that on the table. That's me. I didn't go to the store and buy it. I put it there. That's something that means something.
And honestly, I mean, it's definitely one of my goals. My wife, and luckily I have enough kids where it's like we get tags fairly often because I have enough kids to the lottery's a little bit in my favor. But yeah, no, I definitely a goal to, like, I'd love to, have a very high percentage of all the meat that we eat, something that we've killed.
I mean, it's pure protein. It's lean. It's clean, and I get it. I know. I'm not a big elk guy. When it comes, I'll grind up most of my elk or make it into jerky. I'm not to have an elk steak. I'd rather have a deer steak or beef steak I love antelope. Antelope's my favorite.
Really?
But yeah, what's that?
So I've heard like opposite of antelope. I've heard a lot of people say they don't like antelope.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
I've never tried it.
No, I've never killed an antelope in Arizona. I've only killed them in Texas and Wyoming and Colorado. Yeah. But I love antelope. It doesn't last very long. It's not a lot of meat on it.
Yeah, not a lot of meat. You've had access?
I have had access.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's such a mild.
Yeah,
flavor.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Best meat I've ever had is obviously Africa. I mean, the best meat ever is everything in Africa tastes. I don't care if it's a warthog or if it's an eland or a zebra. Zebra's my favorite.
Really?
I tell you, I love African meat. And it just sucks you can't bring it home with you. So we're there.
Gotta eat as much as you can.
I'm like, oh my God, I am so gorged. I'm like, my wife goes, I want to go home and not eat any meat. It's the best. I love zebra. Zebra is so good. And we donate, we donate to an orphanage when we get done with it.
Right.
But, yeah.
I'm trying to look up the name of, it's been a while, but the Swaro dealer over in Alpine, John McIver. Do you know that guy?
I don't.
John McIver. Yeah, he's got some stories.
So
he's a Swaro dealer that lives over in Alpine, and really great dude. Literally one time, like, the whole Gibbs Arms crew, we were going to do an OTC hunt over in 27, and I only met the guy. No, actually that particular day I hadn't even met the guy. I was looking into some Swaro stuff, and then it was there, like 7 or 8 of us from work. We're all going to go hunt 27, and I was trying to actually round up some binos. So I was actually thinking, like, well, I could, like, give my binos to some of my guys, and then maybe I call up John, and I heard of this guy, and maybe I'll go buy some, dude, literally, I had never met the guy. By the end of the phone call, he's already like, I probably shouldn't say this, but because I don't want everybody to expect
John
this.
now.
Yeah, but no, he was cool. He's like, oh, come by. He literally let me borrow a couple of pair of binos, and we went out and hunted, and then I ended up buying stuff from him and all that. But
that's cool.
But if, man, he's got some stories. It's like he goes and does a lot of what is it? When the PH has in Africa, the PH has like a lot of orders to fill. Like, hey,
call hunts
for hunts, for all the local economy and everything. He's like, hey, we need 200 water buffaloes or whatever. Yeah, that dude. He's a guy. He's got some stories.
You
should probably talk to him.
Yeah, Africa's a unique place. It's one of my favorite places to hunt.
Yeah, I haven't been over there yet, but yeah, definitely that's on the list.
It's definitely. the South African thing, it's become such a high fence play, and it's always there's huge concessions,
Yeah.
but it's getting to the point now. It's getting so commercialized that a lot of companies are coming in, they're booking hunts at the shows, and then before the hunters come in, they're going to auction and buying the animals and throwing them in concessions. There's your kudu, shoot a kudu.
Yeah.
They're not, they're not being raised, not farmed on the thing.
Yeah.
You get into like Mozambique and Botswana and Namibia, things like that. It's wide on your 2 million acre preserves up there.
Yeah.
That's kind of where my next adventure is going to be. I think.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done with South Africa itself, but the people are amazing.
Yeah.
The culture is amazing.
So what's on your list for if there was obviously you've killed a lot of stuff in North America, but like is there anything on your list of North America that you haven't got yet that you kind of want?
I want a moose.
Moose, yeah.
Yeah, I had a moose hunt booked right before COVID, and the pilot ended up dying of COVID. His wife calls me and says, "Hey,
that's not cool.
Mark died. I'm sorry. We're selling the plane." I'm like, "What about my hunt?" And back then it was actually fair. It was pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
After COVID, it went stupid.
Yeah.
And I would still like to do that. A buddy of mine here, we talking about getting our own mud boats and going up to Bonzilla and doing our own hunt. But moose is something that I want to do. I want that 10-day adventure up in there. It's like I really want to kill a Cape buffalo. And I'd gone to South Africa a year and a half ago to kill a Cape buffalo. And when I got there, I got shut down. The government shut me down. A guy had gotten mauled pretty bad, a bow hunter. So they said, "Hey, if you want to do it, it's got to be either on a blind or a tree stand." And I want to spot and stalk it. And I would tell my PH, he was kind of upset with me. I'm like, "Hey, it's not about the kill for me. It's about the adventure. I want that story that I spot and stalk Cape buffalo.
Yeah.
That's what I want." Kind of the same thing with moose. I want to go up there. I want to be 10 days in there on my own. And that's, my wife thinks you're an idiot. She goes, "Enjoy yourself." I go, "But for me, it's that part. I don't really care if I kill a moose. I would love to kill a moose, but I want to be up there and have that opportunity." And so we're working on it. Cape buffalo still probably be my next one still, but that's what I really, that got in my blood, and I'm like, I got to kill a Cape, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I've killed a lot of animals.
Yeah, no, it's fun kind of getting more into the industry and being around. Eric's an exceptional hunter. He's killed a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So he's helped me on a couple of my kids' hunts and everything. So it's been super fun to kind of dive into it a little bit more. I've killed some stuff. I haven't killed a ton of stuff. So I'm definitely on that, like, I'm 45, so I feel like I don't have a lot of time left. So I got to.
Yeah, I'm 55. My clock is ticking. Antonio's 25. Yeah, you got.
I got some time still.
Nice.
Yeah,
you got some time.
Sweet.
Well, probably ought to wrap it up. We've been talking for a while.
The longest one yet.
Yeah.
It's been a good one though.
Is it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was a good
Cool.
one.
Fun.
I enjoy the BS session.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I get carried away. I can talk to ears off an Eskimo sometimes. But, yeah. Well, cool. We appreciate you coming, man.
Yeah, Kevin, thank you much.
Appreciate it. No. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff coming. We the name of the game right now is, getting into different phone cases and converting to different optics and all that. And we've got a lot of new stuff coming and everything. So yeah, we'll definitely.
It's a great product. I think I've seen how well we've done with it so far, and the excitement that's behind it is, it's rarely you get something. It's something that's it's not so new. There's been digiscoping for years and years and years, and people, it's just kind of a new twist on it that's just like revolutionized the whole thing. And like I said, my wife laughs at me. I'm digiscoping all the time. I'm in the backyard. I'm looking at the moon. I'm doing. It's like, my gosh. She's like, "You're like a kid." I go, "This is so much fun. It's easy now." Before, I get so frustrated.
That's kind of.
I would be so pissed off.
That'd be the key word when I look at like Kapture and some of the other ones. Is Kapture is ease of use. It's simple. You don't have to think about it. It clicks in, and you're done. Like,
because it's like, how many times you're on the mountain and you're like, okay, you've got something in the scope and you're like, and you have to be like, well, you're going through like, okay, is it worth it? I've got to get this out. I've got to wedge this on. I've got to do that. But when you can just have everything, and we're actually coming out with some some vinyl harnesses, like a pocket system that we can keep your phone and keep some of the extra mag rings and have a place. So we're working on some accessories to kind of make everything a little bit easier to reach. But so I've got some prototypes I've been running and everything. But yeah, when everything is just set up and literally when you're thinking like you look at it and there's just 2 seconds from, and then you can take video and then pull it back off if you need to. Yeah.
The whole thing before was by the time you got it on there, it would move. You had to find it again. It was like, this is ridiculous. It's to the point where you literally would be holding up your phone, trying to square it up to the lens to get a picture. It's like, and now it's like, my whole phone is full of captured videos and pictures now.
Yeah.
It's just like, my wife laughs at me so hard. I'm like, I go, sure, you've been doing this for years. I go, yeah, but now I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. And it had that excitement and it showed those guys when they walk in, I got to show you this.
Yeah.
And they get excited about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to feel like, yeah, I get it. But the guys that, especially guides, people out there in the woods a lot, they get it.
Yeah. Cause, and I'm not dissing on them, but like probably the one complaint we get the most is that it's a little expensive. It's not the cheapest system out there, but exactly like you said, there's a certain class of people that don't say that. It's the ones that are out there using it all the time.
Oh yeah. And quality costs money and but I can't tell you how many other brands I've gone through over the years. You know, you add those up. Capture's pretty cheap for me. So,
that's what me and Brian were talking about. After I throw all the other ones away, I've spent almost double on what this Capture is.
Absolutely. Easy.
And I like the Capture 10 times better.
Yeah. And you guys, is the app out now? You guys?
So I'm not, we'll have to check with Eric. I'm not sure if we've actually I don't believe that we have like email promoted it, launched it. So anybody who's listening, you can go on and find the Kapture app. We're just not promoting it yet. We're kind of doing
Maybe I
some
shouldn't have set
testing.
anything up.
No, it's fine.
I got the cat out of the bag.
No,
I've been using it and I love it.
Yeah, no, I could tell you that it's not a problem that we mention it. It's more of like, we're not promoting it as like, hey, this is like refined and ready to go. But honestly, there's a lot more that we're going to be adding to the app. You know, I'm excited about some things in the app that I really just
we won't say anything
not
yet.
be quiet about.
We won't.
Yeah, because there's going to be some cool stuff in the app. We've thought a lot about what's going to make, you know, we love the concept on the product, on how it works and how it integrates with the optic, and so doing what we've already done and expanding it to more optics and phones is obviously a big part of that. But we're also looking a lot at like, okay, what's the rest of the system? Again, like the accessories. There's like the Bino clip is already launched, but we're looking at pouches. We're looking at other kinds of stuff. And then again, we put a lot of thought into like what the app can do and trying to get it where, you know, what are all the different fields? Hunting's obviously a big field, and that's kind of where our heart is for sure. You know, but the birding's a huge community.
Bird's a huge community.
Yeah, birding and shooting, just shooting and shooting. I mean, how many people how many people nerd out over bullet trace? If you see bullet trace on video, like, you know, I mean, that's cool. But so there's a lot. So we are very, very much thinking about the shooting industry. You know, and we've been reaching out to, you know, we've got a little bit of a hold in the birding community. So birders are a little bit funny because some of them get a little bit, you know, if they find out that your roots are in hunting, then they kind of turn your nose up a little bit.
You know, I'd asked Swirl one time, is back when they came out with their EL ranges. I'm like, why is the button on the wrong side? You know, I mean, this sucks. They go, well, tell you what, if you can get the birding community to buy into your thoughts, we'll make it.
But why would they care about it being on the left side?
What does it matter? But he told me the birding is so much of their industry, more so than the hunting industry.
Yeah, but that still doesn't make sense because it
doesn't make sense.
Because it's like,
what do they care? What
you still haven't told me like why the birders want it on the left side.
Exactly.
Because again, because I remember I had the first pair of binos, and luckily my fingers were long enough where I could reach over and hit it. But
I'd be like this. I mean, you're all discombobulated like this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And but they told me, hey, anything you want to change in the industry, get the birders to sign on to it, and we're in. Yeah. I'm like, really? I guess that big is it's a huge part of our worldwide. It's a huge part of our
job. Yeah. Well, I remember when I was first kind of you know, looking into higher quality glass, and I was looking at Swirl. I was kind of like, you know, the engineer in me wants to kind of understand why something's better, not just because somebody says it's better. This is what everybody else is buying. I was like, so I was kind of like, hey, I really, it's like in my heart, I want to buy a pair of Swirls, but I kind of want to know like, okay, why are they better? And so I was doing a bunch of research, and honestly, I went to all the birding videos. They were the ones that actually quantified and showed all these different videos with
really?
the different light transmission. The most amount of information on like nerd level to like understand why swears are better was all in the birding.
That's crazy.
The birding
Interesting.
influencers.
And you think of swords, you just think of hunting, but
Yes.
that's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else,
I
Antonio?
think that's it. I think we're good. This has been a fun
right.
one.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. It was fun to BS with you guys, and you know, like I said, coming from the gun industries, you know, every time we were in here and talk to you and understand a little bit more about the archery, and especially again like the archery history. I know you've got I know you've name dropped who you got coming on here pretty
Yeah.
soon. I'm really excited for
Yeah,
for that one.
we're fixing to make this happen pretty quick. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a fun one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long one.
It's going to be a long one.
It might be a 2-parter or something
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
because
No, that'd be
I got a
awesome.
feeling it's gonna be a long one, but it's gonna be a fun, and I can't wait because it's truly one of my heroes.
Yeah.
And so we're not gonna put too much out there, but it's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah.
I just talked to his wife yesterday, as a matter of fact, about it.
Yeah.
So
When's he coming on?
don't know yet. They might be up this weekend.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't come up as much.
Yeah.
She it's kind of her she shed that she
Mhm.
has here. But you didn't get any archery tag stuff yet, did you, at the
I
shop?
haven't yet, no. Mhm.
Okay, because they're bringing a bunch of equipment over to you
Okay.
in Mesa. But I'm not gonna say anything out there because until I guess you get him sitting there talking.
Mhm.
But it's gonna be a fun one. And I got another guy.
Well, I was guaranteed if you go down there, you'll.
I know.
Yeah.
And I thought about doing that. There's also, do you guys know Frank Pearson at all?
Mm.
You know Frank Pearson,
Mhm.
don't you?
Right.
So I think I might go down and get Frank, because Frank's been in it forever. I mean, guy's an archery fanatic, but he's got stories after
Yeah.
stories, and he's more on the target side and the bow building side than he is
Yeah.
on the hunting side. But there's guys like that I really want to get in and get there. I want to have that for longevity purposes, because when they're gone, and those
Yeah.
stories are going to be gone.
Well, I could tell you again from my perspective. I'm not that much, I'm not young, but it was still such a real surprise to me to realize, kind of try to understand like how new archery is and how much it's changed. And it really is like, it really hasn't. You could say that bows are a lot more similar nowadays, and like performance is all fairly close. They've all got their unique cool things, and there's definitely
Yeah.
and you understand better than anybody that that there are definite differences between them, but they've all kind of funneled into like something a real more familiar area.
It's crazy
just-
how much the manufacturers steal from each other.
Yeah.
It's like, one comes out with something, and pretty soon they've got their own twist on it.
Yeah.
It's like the cam and a half. Dart invented the cam and a half system back in the day. Well, then everybody
Everybody had a cam and
cannibalized
a
it.
half.
I mean, Hoyt had it. Hoyt was the last ones to really do away with it. PSC was a cam and a half system forever. I mean, but Rex Darrington, who owned Darton back in the 70s, he's one of those engineer guys that just was way ahead of his time.
So what do you think it is that drove from, because like you said, Matthews, when they introduced the solo cam, it was like, hey, like this tuning and keeping cams in time is a real challenge here. So like, this is going to simplify it and kind of, but now, it seems like, everything's like true dual cam system. And
So big thing was string material.
Mhm.
Back then with Fast Flight and Dacron,
Mhm.
that material just, it never was stable.
Yeah.
It would, put a little bit of heat to it, things like that. Things stretched out and got out of time really bad. With the new string material, with Vectran coming into the
Mhm.
play and Dyneema blends, it's a much more stable platform.
Well, and just I can't believe I didn't think to mention it before. All these new string materials you're talking about, those are the fibers that we were doing with body armor.
Really?
That's the evolution from Kevlar.
Okay.
Really?
So those the Dyneema, the Spectra, Honeywells, it's the same fiber. It's the high density, ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, whatever. But what's crazy about them and is in ballistics, they're unique in how fast they can absorb. There's a lot of material, like a lot of fibers and materials that can stretch really far, but it's unique for how fast it can stretch, how rapid it could stretch without breaking. Like a lot of stuff can stretch real fast. But that's why honestly I was a little bit confused when I learned, being in body armor, firearms, and then making my, then getting into archery, learning that they're used for strings, because I knew it as a fiber that could take a huge impulse, stretch really fast, stretch really long, and not break. So I thought, why, and you build strings, you do your own strings. So because I mean,
So, well, Victran, obviously, Victran's like the strongest material out there.
yeah,
It has zero give. It will not stretch anything like that. The problem with Victron is that if you made something out of 100% Victron, it wouldn't bend. It wouldn't be flexible enough to go around the cams, things like that. It'd be a very hard shot. So they put in the Dyneema in there. So the Dyneema, and they're using this SK99, SK75 in there, and that's sort of making a blend in there. So you're getting the strength, and you used to see strings that would get really bad fuzzies on them and things like that. Well, that's the Dyneema part and the string getting fuzzies because it's a softer material than background. So it's this blend. And when you look at a string, when it collapses, it has to have a soft feel to it. If strings were really hard, you get the reverb back into your body would be really drastic. So like with Fast Flight's super easy to shoot. I mean, it's like, boink, it's like there's nothing there, but after about 4 shots, you're over there retiming your bow because it's now stretched out.
Because I was going to ask, are there any strings? Do you know if they've ever tried to make a string 100% like Dyneema or that kind of fiber?
Well, there are strings that are 100% Dyneema.
Okay.
We can build them 100% Dyneema. A lot of times, your competition guys, like 3D guys, they will build a set of cables that are in a Vectran blend. And they'll build a pure 100% Dyneema string because Dyneema is faster than the Vectran because it's lighter.
Oh, okay.
So you get a little bit more feet per second.
Is it more stretchy or is it?
It's softer. I don't know what as far as the tensile strength goes on it. I'm not sure how that is, but it is softer.
Yeah.
And so it's a much softer feel. But being lighter, it's picking up speed. There's a string company out there right now that's claiming these, we'll get you 4 or 5 feet per second more. It just has a more Dyneema blend to it in the string and more. They're just mixing it up.
Is the trade-off durability or?
Yeah. So for most people, that don't want to change their strings out every 2 years or something like that, you want to go to a Vectran Dyneema blend. Guys that shoot and are changing their strings all the time, they may have more of a Dyneema string in there or an 8125 or something like that. I shoot a lot of Dyneema on my strings, but I still use a Vectran, like a 42X on my cables. Get a little bit more speed out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Get a little softer feel out of it.
Yeah, it's not like.
But I'm changing my strings out. I can change it every time I want.
Yeah.
But for the average guy,
are you changing the string and leaving your cables?
No, I just build the whole set.
Yeah.
You. What are your thoughts on that?
I pretty much run 452X for everything on my personal bows. Mainly because I'm using them for hunting. I don't do as many competitions as you do, so I'm not really worried about speed as much. It's more of a durability thing for me. I don't want that extra Dyneema. But it works.
Dyneema just doesn't wear as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Strings that every year, and you didn't mind paying for it and whatever. Like if you could shoot Dyneema strings and
yeah, they're going to be beat up. You're going to see. It depends on how hard you're on your equipment. I've seen guys that, if it's just in the side of your truck driving around road hunting all day long, it's probably going to get beat up. But if you're out on a 10-day backcountry hunt, they're going to probably be pretty beat up.
Oh, I've gone on hunts where after the hunt, I'm putting new strings on my bow.
Yeah. I've been. I'm really rough on my stuff. I mean, I tell guys if it'll survive the Brian test, it'll survive anybody's test because I am rough on bows and stuff. But it just kind of a feel. And most people don't know the difference. If I could throw Dyneema strings on there or Vectran,
you never know the difference.
The average Joe's not going to tell a difference on it.
Yeah.
The Chrono will tell you a couple feet per second difference on it, but nobody's really going to tell a difference. So it's better just to default to the Vectran because it's going to hold up to whatever you do better. And when we get you back in this, it just blew up, or my peep just cut through all my strands. That's going to be a much more durable material.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where, that kind of revolutionized when we started going back in the dual cam bows and split limbs. There's a funny article out there years ago. I don't know how long ago it was. Matt McPherson, there's an article and he's talking, they're asking what's going to ruin archery. He said dual cams and split limbs. Look at his bows now.
Yeah.
Dual cam.
Why did he say that?
Because he had the solo cam market.
So I can understand it would ruin his market, but was there something fundamental?
Well, it was hard. It was with split limbs. It was hard to get them because they get the deflections right.
Yeah.
So the tuning on that was really temperamental.
I did a lot of composites work, and so I could imagine that they were like I imagine they're really good at it now, but getting each limb to flex at the same rate and have
Yeah.
the same speed
Yes.
rate. Yeah.
So when you had a solid limb,
Yeah.
much easier to control that solid and have two different
Yeah.
independent limbs in there, and you would have to be you would need to, back in the first days of split limbs, we would have to shim to get the deflection to change to get in the tune, because if it flex, one would come in more than this one. You get this cameline, all of a sudden you get these hard right and left tears. So the advent of new material and the technology of new material has propelled archery to a whole new level, where now everybody's got a dual cam bow.
Yeah.
Everything's binary now.
Yeah.
And different materials. But before, dual cam bows are really like, I'm not doing a dual cam bow because I'm gonna have nothing but problems with it. So it's really has changed a lot, but it's just because of the material and the design and the tolerance that they can make limbs in now. There for a while, the way that they're made, and they put them in they heat it up, they superheat it up. Well, you can have a limb like get an air bubble in it and not know that it's in there until you go to pull the bow back, and all of a sudden it snaps and comes apart like that.
Yeah.
And bow companies were real hesitant. I remember Randy Walk from Hoyt telling me one time he had a bow blow up on him one time. And he says his goal was not, because I asked him, why don't you make a 400 feet per second bow? I mean, it's doable. He's like, it's doable. He goes, nobody will want to shoot it. He says, but I do it for because I never want a bow to blow up on somebody. He says, I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to put that risk out there to do that. Yeah. And you see the bows now, they're all kind of in that 330, 340. Every once you get a 350 bow out there, that's about the highest we're ever going to probably see that. Somebody could build a 400 feet per second bow. We could Franken bow right now and get you a 400 feet per second bow if you want to. It's just not a fun bow to shoot, and it's not a very safe bow to shoot. Yeah. So, and with everybody being so happy with companies, I heard a story one time. I was up at Hoyt, and they're telling me about a guy. He's a lawyer. He's getting ready to go on a hunt, and he was in his den. And his wife heard his commotion, walks in there. He's dead. Has a hole in his forehead. Dead as a doorknob. What had happened was he had pulled his bow back and was looking down his bow, and the rifle came out of his hand, and the cable guard hit him in the forehead.
Holy freak, dude.
They sued Hoyt, and Hoyt ended up having to settle out of court and paid, I don't know how many millions of dollars because of the guy's a stupid idiot.
Dude, my brother-in-law, obviously it's not that bad. Not nobody died, but my target bow, I just kind of got this target bow. It's a little bit older bow because I just want to kind of dabble in it. I just got this thing and I took it over to my sister's house. I won't name names here, but I took it over to my sister's house because they had a couple of kids that did the Joad stuff, and my brother-in-law, like, before I know, I leave the room because like they knew what they were doing around bows and stuff like that. So, and I leave the room to go do something else, and I hear, and I'm like, freaking! I come back, and it was like pow, and then like clack, 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 and then I go in there, and my brother-in-law has right by his eye, on his temple, just a freaking huge gash. So he dry fired my bow. And it was a 60-pound bow. It's not nothing, but the peak came out and just almost aced his eye. Like I was like, oh.
I got a buddy that has a shop back east, and his worker lost his eye. Yeah, and so it's very important. Our policy is we tie all the peeps in around the peep.
Yeah,
so many shops don't tie the peeps in, and two things happen. One time,
like they just on where it splits, they just tie the top
on the yoke part of it, but not around the peep itself, and. Two reasons. One is if your bow gets wet, if your strings get wet and you shoot that, it'll flip that peep sometimes, pop it in the string like this where you can't see through it. But the biggest thing is that it can come back and hit you in the eye. Yeah. This guy, he told me it happened, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. He called me and said, hey man, Bob just lost his eye. I'm like, what happened? The peep came back and shot him in the eye and took his eye out. So that's a big thing for us is tying the peeps in, especially because you got something to think at full draw, there's no tension in that string. Yeah. I could pull that peep in and out. Yeah. I could do whatever I want to it. There's all the tension are on the cables now. So as that thing collapses and comes back, and if those yoke ties are further apart, well, that thing flexes and it comes back. That's when it shoots that peep back
when you
out.
see all the slow-mos and how much the string is whipping and all that. Yeah. If there's a little whip, it could, it
doesn't take much. And also you get, a little ounce piece of metal coming back at you. Yeah. It's dangerous. So, it's crazy. You hear some crazy stories in the archery world about how people get hurt. It's just not, but a lot of it's stupidity.
Most of it is.
Looking down your bow. Yeah. My buddy, he'd come home one day and his wife has his bow on the floor with her feet she on the riser, she pulled the string back, sitting there holding it back, and what are you doing? She said, I just want to see if I could do it. He's like, don't let it go. Well, of course, what does she do? She gets panicking and she lets it go and blows his bow up. I mean, I always have a thing. I'm gonna get a T-shirt that says "Friends don't let friends pull their bows."
Yeah,
because it's notorious.
It's funny.
You know, guys are
That's like the first thing I tell when we saw like a new shooter. I'm like, there's 2 rules in archery: don't dry fire your bow, don't let your buddies touch it. Like, you do those 2 things, you'll probably be okay.
I can't tell you how many people come back in here after buying a bow and they're like, what happened? My buddy wanted to pull it back. I'm like, dude, don't do it.
That is an interesting thing about archery, because it is like, I mean, what are the percentages of times that I mean, it's pretty much a given that your bow, like, you have a bow has to be fitted for you. Everybody's so unique, and it's like it's not like you can really pick up anybody's bow. That's yeah. So
no, it's pretty. But people want, oh, I'm gonna see your bow, buddy, and they pull it back. Well, what happens, especially with higher let off bows nowadays, they hit the hump. And when it comes out of the hump, it's so dramatic that it comes out of their fingers.
Yeah.
You don't see it near as much with lower let-off bows as you do with higher let-off bows.
Yeah.
But it comes out, and they're not expecting that.
Yeah.
And it's got it in their fingers. Well, as soon as they hit it, it comes out and blows the bow up.
Yeah.
It's notorious. It's literally, I had a guy that had an elk tag. He had bought a bow. He was so excited. He comes back. He's waiting for me opening morning of the hunt. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. And I pull up, and I go, what's going on? He's like, pulls the bow out in pieces. Well, his buddy showed up to camp the night before. They got to drinking.
Yep.
And he goes, let me see your bow. And he pulls it back and blows his bow up. I go, is he still your friend? Nope.
He's at least in timeout for a while.
I had a guy in here, you know, we have signs. We used to zip tie our bows together. I had a guy come in, and he was, I don't know if it was his girlfriend or his wife, but he was kind of strutting his stuff, like, you know, I'm a bow hunter and this and that. And he picks a bow up. And I go, hey, don't pull that bow back. I go, if you want to, I'll put you on the safety release. I've done this. He pulls that bow back and blows it up. Right. I go, well, congratulations. You just bought a new bow.
Yeah.
He looks at me, and she is like so disgusted. Like, yeah, and she's really impressed too, whoever she is. I mean, you scored some really brownie points here, buddy. Yeah. But I've had people blow bows up in the shop before. Pulling, not paying it. I had my back turned. I had an employee one time. The old pull down. Remember the pull down scales?
Yes, I do.
The old
those are terrible.
So I had one of those up here. It was back when the Z7 Extreme was out. That was the bow. And it was a Saturday. We were busy. I had a part-time guy in there working, older guy, super nice guy. But I have these things that when shit happens in the store, you just act like you're under control still.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He goes back. He pulls his bow back. I'm talking to the customer. I heard a boom, blows it up. I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's okay, no, we're all good, we're good. He grabs another one, goes back, pulls it, blows it up. He did it 3 times. He's going for the 4th bow. I said, don't you grab another bow. Well, I don't know what's going on. I go, just stop. So I got done with customers. I'm like, dude, I go, you're rolling your hands coming down off of that thing and rolling it off the cams. And I'm like, that's when I invented the wheel that we have at the shops now. That's why I went and got a freaking AC pump wheel and made it so you have to use a rope. Because he was going for 4 bows, but then 10 minutes of each other blowing them up.
I could see maybe 2. You know, maybe.
I'm like,
I mean, even then, it's like, oh, I just did that. Hey, did I do something wrong on the first one?
Yeah.
4 is impressive.
What's the definition of insanity? That was it.
Yeah, that's a special kind of stupid.
I had to call Matthews and say, hey, I need a favor. I need some cams. I need some top hats. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. But it definitely happened.
I did that. I did that on one bow when I first started, and I was like, I'll never do this again.
Guys just they roll it right off the cams, and they're like, oh. And so that's when I said no more.
That's why honestly, I mean, so many shops now have like just a lid drop secures a bow. You know, you have the pulley or whatever system, and it's like, I think I won't name the shop, but I took my bow to another shop, you know, somewhere else, and not here, and they had one of the where guys pulling.
It's an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Even with the pulley stuff, with the highlight, like remember the elites and the old impulse and stuff like that. You could literally pull that bow at full draw and let up on the rope, and it would stay at full draw. and come off the hook. You had to hold the bow because a shop down in the valley, I won't say the name of it, did that. That bow collapsed. Pieces were going everywhere. but you have to hang on to that bow on there because that high let off now, especially with PSCs at 90% let off.
Yeah.
You go let up on it. It's still a full draw, and it's off 4 inches from the rail, and
Yeah.
you got to be really careful with it. There's you can damage some stuff pretty quick.
Yeah.
Hey, I know this is going on kind of in. I'm changing the subject, and you can edit this out. You can make a choice you want, but I have a question for you. What would you say is what would you say is like kind of like a steady hold? Like what do you think are the things that kind of make it click or that really help with like
the aiming process?
Yeah.
One, draw length is the probably the biggest thing. Is having the proper draw length.
Having the proper draw.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's gonna prevent a steady hold worse? So too long or too short?
Well, both. So
okay.
if you're too short, you're going to get this fast pin movement quicker. If you're too long, you're going to get this much slower, longer pin movement.
Mm-hmm.
They're still moving. It's both of them are inaccurate. It's just two different visuals that you're getting with that. I probably see more people being on the short side than the long side. Would you say, Antonio?
I would agree.
I think they're always too short a draw, and a lot of it has to do because of this shoulder. This shoulder, you'll see them come up like this, and so that if they lengthen that thing out, now they're like really short. Probably the draw length, but also anchor point, and shoulder positions. If your shoulders are up like this and you're trying to hold a bow, it's all muscle in there. You're going to fatigue much quicker and things like that. And I think people, if you like a Deanna shoots a straight arm, low shoulder. I mean, I have a little natural bend on my arm. She is bone on bone, but she's rock solid. I can't shoot that way. But I think a lot of it is probably the biggest thing is draw length. You'll find when I'm working on my draw lengths, I'll be twisting up my cables back and forth to tweak my draw length a little bit, like, an eighth of an inch here, a quarter of an inch there. And it seems because most draw lengths are based on half inches, but you'd be surprised what a quarter inch or an eighth inch will do to all of a sudden that pin just go whoop, and just start moving like this, just slow it down so much. And then I go a little too far, I'll say, whoop, if I start doing it, it gets bigger. So drawing's probably the biggest thing.
Okay.
And then consistency wise, what I find more than anything is anchor point. Guys are always chasing an anchor point and they're constantly moving their sights all the time because their anchor point is inconsistent where they should be working on this. And I see guys go left and right and left and right and left and right. And it's like, dude, it's your anchor point. There's so much form involved in archery.
Yeah.
Facial contact. I see guys that, they're constantly going left. Constantly, I go, well, you're getting too much facial contact. On a right-hand shooter, you're aiming too hard. So when you aim, you push into a string a little harder. Well, anytime you do that, that string has to react, and it's always going to be a left miss. And so that's something that you have to. And you start looking at people. You can kind of look and say, hey, this is what you're doing. Try this, and you can kind of bring it back. I had a guy today, his sights, he goes, I keep looking, I'm seeing my riser, I'm seeing my riser. Well, it was his grip. He was squeezing that bow so hard that it was bringing that riser into line with it in his eyes, and just little things like that you could get him. But I think the biggest thing is probably draw length.
Draw length, anchor point, and then poundage. I think like being overbowed will cause that too. Like as you fatigue.
Yeah, there's a lot of ego out there, I think.
I'm guilty of it. I used to shoot 80 pounds because I could. Now I'm back down to 70-pound bows.
You can kill anything you need to kill with a 70-pound bow.
Yeah.
You can kill anything you need to kill with a 60-pound bow. I went to Africa. My bow was 83 pounds, but that was going up for Cape Buffalo, and I had I had a 900 grain freaking arrow. But for North America, you don't have guys get too wrapped up in the poundage.
And that's what I've been playing around the most with on is just messing around with the stabilizer weights and just trying to, because like right now I need to shoot more often because I find like now I'm in the backyard and I'm kind of like for reps and I need to work out more or whatever, but it's like I'm like pulling weights off my bow so I can shoot better for longer. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know a big part of that's going to be strength and just kind of building up.
Well, you shoot a lot of weight on your bow, don't you?
I shoot, and actually, like we started our league last night, and I haven't shot my target bow since May. It's sat in the shop and collected dust. I am not in target bow shape right now. I struggled last night holding that bow up because of how heavy it was. So I'm taking weights off of it and starting over because I'm not in target bow shape right now.
I have always shot a really heavy bow. Even my hunting bows are really heavy. And I work out all the time. And I'm like, last night I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's killing me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people way overweight their. It depends too on what you're doing. If I'm shooting a FIDA course or something like that, and I'm shooting 15 meters and I'm in the wind, I want a heavy bow.
Yeah.
So a heavier bow is going to be a slower reaction. It's still
Yeah.
going to move, but it's going to be a much slower. You start taking weights off, you start seeing a quicker reaction. I like that slower motion.
Yeah, I would agree.
But you got to hold that bow up. And that's where you get it. And that's where this form, if you get that high shoulder and stuff like that, all of a sudden now it's all muscle. And that's where you see a lot of guys will dip. As soon as they shoot that bow, they see that bow dip down and they kind of fight these lows all the time. It's because that bow, they're kind of relaxed on the shot. And as soon as they relax, that bow's want to drop because of the weight. So last night I took off a bunch of weight off my back bar, and it's funny is I see these guys come in, and Deanna shoots a ton of weight. She shoots as much weight as I've ever shot on my bows. And the guys are like, holy crap, your wife. So they start putting more. Well, Deanna's got it. I'm going to put more on mine. I go, here's the problem. The more weight you put on that bow, the harder you have to pull on that back wall, because that's your balance point.
Yeah.
So if you're a very static shooter, you don't need a lot of weight. You don't want a lot of weight. Deanna pulls, she's a very dynamic shooter. And so she's pulling super hard in her back wall. So she can compensate for that weight out there with it. And like Mike Schlosser and guys like that, they run, 26, 30 ounces on the front of their bars, but they're pulling so hard in the back wall. I used to be a very dynamic shooter. I'm a much more static shooter now.
So why do you think guys like that care? Do guys like that even care what their holding weight is? Because they're
holding weight's huge.
Yeah,
you want more holding weight.
Yeah,
the more holding weight you have, the steadier you are.
But does it? But does it kind of negate it by how hard you're pulling into the back wall?
It can. So it depends on what apparatus you're using to make the shot. Are you shooting a trigger? Are you shooting a button? Or are you shooting a hinge? With a hinge, you're already pulling through that, so it helps you get through that hinge a little quicker. But I used to love shooting like spiral cams on the Hoyts, and that was a 60% let off bows. I loved them, but it made me have to pull. I had to pull. If I did, I creeped off and it'd take off on me. So I love that. I could shoot a spiral now if my life depended on it. It would rip my shoulders apart. And now I'm shooting, 80, 85% let off. I'm like, I'm old. What the hell? I've never shot this. I just make fun of guys that shot this. But I shoot so much more static. I kind of sit in that valley now. And then as I start to pull through it, I have a very light hinge. So as I start to pull through it, I'm activating it that way through my back muscles. Where Deanna, when her thing goes off, it's like this explosion. I mean, you can just see her, like her hands and everything just kind of goes in every direction because she's pulling so hard. But she has to because of all that weight. She can get by with it. Guys that aren't doing that can't do that.
Emily McCarthy was on a podcast with the PJ Raleigh guy, and I thought it was funny how she's like I don't think about how the release works. I don't even think about how it works. It's almost like she's like she like doesn't want anybody to tell her or talk about her what she does. I don't want to think. I just pull until it goes.
Yeah. Sharon Wallace is another one. She'll pull that bow in half.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how hard they pull some of these women. But they also shoot I think McCarthy, I think she's shooting like 60, 63 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's crazy weight.
Heavy,
I mean, for a target bow, you do that on repetition. It also depends too on what discipline you're doing. If you're shooting a 3D course, you're only shooting 20 targets, or if you're shooting a FIDA course and you're shooting 120 arrows. I couldn't shoot 70 pounds at, my hunting weight at 120 times in, 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I could on a 3D course if I wanted to. I'm only shooting 20 times.
Dude, have you seen any of those old videos of some of these old shoots that these guys would do? Like, I was blown away, like how, like all these moving targets, these guys compound and they're shooting like 60 yard movers.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like, it's just kind of an interesting mentality. Cause it's like right now, this is solid advice. I'm not advocating like shooting an animal while it's moving, but it's interesting how these competitions and what, how that's
most kind of archery goes back in the day. Do you remember, did you guys ever have them down in Tucson where you had the old javelinas on the cable?
Sliding across?
Like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. We used to have one like that all the time. We used to have one.
I lost so many arrows on those stupid targets.
It's a novelty shooting, what it is.
Yeah,
but
it's absolutely fun.
Yeah. Do you guys probably remember the Buckmaster Classics? Do you remember those, the pop-up ones? when I was a kid growing up, I wasn't a kid. I was probably in my 20s. I wanted to shoot the Buckmaster. I want the trophy's a big old whitetail. I'm like, I wanted that freaking trophy so bad. And I wanted to shoot the Buckmaster, but it was those pop-ups, and you got so many times to shoot them in pop-up. You don't see that kind of stuff anymore. But archery hasn't gotten easier. I think people have gotten
lazier.
They want it to be simpler. I've had guys on courses complain because there's a freaking branch going across something, across the butt. It's like, it's not even cut. It's on the vitals, but they'll throw a temper tantrum and you got to cut that. That's illegal. And it's like, just shoot the freaking target.
Yeah. I mean, you would know better, but it's almost like some of these guys, you could tell like they're all about like 3D is supposed, I mean, it's supposed, the heart of it is that it's supposed to represent hunting.
Yeah.
But there's how many 3D archers don't hunt. So it is, they're the ones that
and the rigs are shitting are hunting.
Yeah. And they're the ones out there that are like, oh, this is, get the course guy out here. Let's change that branch. It's like, so you've never hunted before and had to deal with the branch. Like, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I make fun of target shooters a lot. I'm a target shooter. I love competition shooting. But I'm a bow hunter that shoots competition. So when I go to these places, it's like, it is, I'm kind of like the asshole of the group. That guy's got an attitude, doesn't talk to me, but I don't. I kind of sit around and do my own thing. But you get these guys that go up there and they'll spend 2 minutes on that stake and they'll let down 2 or 3 times. All of a sudden they'll go and they'll shoot a 5. You're like, all that for a 5? Are you serious? I'm like, come on. It's like this big dramatic thing that we had. We had a guy that we're shooting USATs with, and he actually made the USA team the same year that I made the USA team. And he kind of slid in because Tim Gillingham backed out. And so he slid into the next spot. And that guy would sit there on a line and he would wait to be the last guy on the line. And he would look around, like making sure people are watching him to shoot. And then go shoot a freaking 7. I'm like, really? And then throw a temper tantrum about it.
Oh, the wind picked up.
He throws binoculars. He'd have a big, I'm like, I get so mad about that crap. And I just don't come from that kind of a world. It's like, you deal with what you got, you shoot it, you move on.
But like you go to a TAC event and people got like their crazy 3D rigs or whatever.
That was us. The first TAC event, me and Dan showed up. And we got the 32-inch stabilizers, the big shiny anodized bows. We're like, we stuck out like a sore thumb. I'm like, man, we're out of our realm right now. And luckily my wife could hold her own because she was kicking some butt. So I was like, let's look at this guy. He can't hit the freaking target. His wife can, thank goodness, because she saved face for us. But I'm like, oh, I'll never do this again. Like people are looking at us like we're idiots. Like, what are you doing with that?
That's funny.
Yeah, matter of fact, we're going to go to Bow Fest this year in Wisconsin. And she's like, you can take your target bow? I go, hell no, I'm taking my hunting bow. she's like, I'm torn. I go, do what you want. I go, for me, I'm taking my hunting bow.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
All right, we better wrap it up.
Yeah, sounds good.
Antonio's bedtime.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Again, Kevin,
it was fun.
We appreciate you coming by.
Yeah.
The Kapture, folks, if you guys go to our web store, timbermaceoutdoors.com, you can get the Kapture online. We can deliver it right to your door. You can have delivered right to the shop, but we've got them in stock. Come down, check them out. You'll love it. Let us show you what it's all about.
Yeah, we got demos in the shop. I got mine. Brian has his. Come see it on the binoculars. It makes a lot more sense when you can hold it and see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely come. It's worth coming looking at it. If you've ever thought about digiscoping or taking pictures or videos with your optics, this is the system to have. Let us show you about it. So come down to the shop. Hope you guys enjoy it. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Good night.
Hey everyone. So this is going to be the second half of the podcast with Kevin Gibbens from Kapture Gear. Again, we're just kind of continue on with the BS that we were doing, talking about elk hunting and his transition from firearms into the bow hunting world. We appreciate you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. If you do, please like and subscribe it. We're going to bring in some more content, some more guests in the future here. We're having a lot of fun doing this. Also, for listening to us again, go to our online web store, punch in BowPress 10. You get 10% off on our stuff on our online store. So thanks for listening. Enjoy the podcast.